Hi, peace, and welcome once again. So, let me begin by introducing my qualifications. I am a professor, a physician, and a molecular biologist, US trained. So, I do have some degree of credibility and authority on what I shall be considering, and at the end of this, I offer an award, a PayPal sum of up to $500 to anybody who can refute or provide information, that credible information against what I shall be presenting here today. Now, what we are looking at here is MSNBC website 2006 October, and it says Americans win Nobel for Big Bang study. Now, what is the definition of the Big Bang? We are looking here at Boston.com, and a summarily description of the Big Bang is that it holds, which we see here, it holds that the universe began 15 billion years ago as a tiny dot that exploded into today's system of stars and planets. Alright, that's what the theory states in summary. Now, this discovery was phenomenal. It took the world by surprise, and it was so great. We see they were awarded this Nobel Prize and a cash prize or a check of about $14 million. It was wonderful. But the question is, who really first proposed this theory? Was it in the year 2006, and was it the Americans, or did someone actually propose it before? And was that person credible, and was it backed by other credible information? And that's what I'm going to be proving to you today. Alright, so here we are looking at the AgainstScience.com website, and by the way, AgainstScience.com does not mean the material here, the religious information here works against science. It actually describes what science leans against, the backbone of science. So here we can see that right here is the scientific description of the Big Bang. And here we are looking at the Muslim Holy Book, which was revealed 1400 years earlier by the Prophet of Islam, which is one of the prophets of the religions. He is the last of them. They start from Adam through Noah, through Jesus, and to the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, may peace be on them. So here we see from the Quran Science book, Quran chapter 21 verse 30, we read, "See that the heavens and earth, color-coded gray, which is similar to the scientific description of the stars and planets, heavens and earth were fused as one unit, one single unit, which is color-coded to show it's exactly the same as a tiny dot, before we clove them asunder, which is exploded." This is a direct statement that is as solid and original as this statement we have here. The only difference is this first actual documented description of the Big Bang came about 1400 years before this description of the Big Bang. I have provided adequate evidence, as you probably might have come across before, that the Prophet of Islam and the Prophet of the religions first described the Big Bang theory, and he should be awarded the Nobel Prize 1400 years earlier than the Americans. Now you can Google search Quran and look for a Quran online, and you will see evidence of this. Now let's go to the verse in one of the Quran search tools on the internet. So here we are looking at searchtruth.com, and this is the verse, chapter 21 verse 30, and it goes, "Do not the unbelievers see?" You see, this was stated categorically in a matter of fact type of way. It wasn't by accident or a statement that just happened to drop out of somewhere. It's written, "Do not the unbelievers." So this, my video, is directed at the unbelievers, the atheists, agnostics, and those who question and doubt and ask for the authenticity of God. Do not the unbelievers see that the heavens and the earth were joined together as one unit, a single unit, before we clove them asunder, and we have made every living thing, and from water, and we made from water every living thing. Will they not then believe? This is a submission. This is not an accidental statement. This is a submission, an authoritative, commanding submission to the unbelievers, atheists, and agnostics. That, can you challenge this? You gave yourselves a Nobel Prize for this in the year 2006, and we gave this information earlier, much earlier, and it adds more credible information that every living thing came from water, which is the water origin of plants and animals, which scientists have also come to terms with. I submit to you this fact, and it's most likely that scientists dubbed this idea from the Quran and used that for their research on the Big Bang. And secondly, in the course of my debates on the internet, I have seen people say this information was released by people before the time of the Prophet of Islam, and I challenge anybody to provide information written that is supported by other credible information. Because, you know, people could just say by fluke in a lot of statements that, oh, the earth was one single unit and it exploded and then the earth was flat. Once you see a statement like the earth was flat, it shows that statement that that the world expanded was just a fluke. But when it's supported by other statements that are 100% concordant with science, if anybody can provide me any earlier statement that is as credible as this, and that other statements by that individual are also credible and supported by science, which is what we have with the Quran and other accurate holy books, where you have these statements, astounding statements made, and they are backed by all other statements in the Quran that are credible and scientifically being discovered day by day, I will give that person who provides me with a document of this, or can be able to refute this information, $500 by PayPal. Now let's look at a little bit more on the origin from water. This is IslamicCity.com, and we see, and it is God who has created all animals out of water, and he has willed that. Among them are such as crawl on their bellies, and such as walk on 2 legs, and such as walk on 4. God creates what he will, for verily God has power to do anything. That's Quran 24 verse 45. This statement was also the blueprint for Darwin's discovery of evolution. The only difference is the Darwin theory. He made a theory that was racist because he had the multi-origin hypothesis, whereas religion, in describing the origin and creation, had a single origin hypothesis, which, if you watch part 2, I have proved that the world has now come to terms with and has dropped the Darwinistic racist idea that the white man came from some mountains in Russia and the black man came from Africa. Rather, the scientists have accepted the religious idea that we all came single origin, and we came from the Middle East near Africa. Scientists say Ethiopia, which is all in the same region of the Pangaea, as you'll see in part 2. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be providing much more juicy information.